much recording. And this is what I have in the background is different. It's different areas, it's different niches. Certain people here, certain people there, certain people there, certain people where you might think, oh, I'm just gonna be overall. No, why would somebody be overall? Shouldn't you have like, oh, this person was good at blah blah blah, that person was good. But you're not seeing the right people, or you're putting the wrong people, or you're only your people in front of people, or making it seem like, oh, I say this, or I say that, and you just keep repeating the same stuff like over at whatchamacallit. Today I went back and I was like, homegirl just threw the McDonald's bag down on the ground. I was like, dang. I was like, oh, they'll get it up. Went by, handled some business, and did that. And then now somebody walking by, talking about some, and somebody trying to make it sound like you just pick and choose. Oh, we just draw a name out there. Okay, well, who y'all got? Oh, y'all put such and such up? We gonna put such and such up. I think somebody noticed there was a flaw in everything. That's another thing too. They noticed it was a flaw in everything, and whereas you might think this person was blah blah blah, it's like, no, we realized what they did. They fucked up. Excuse my language, whatever. But we're gonna go ahead and put in this person because we already checked them out. They're actually good. They're ready to go. And then somebody else is like, oh no, you want this? And they keep doing that. And somebody else seems like they appear to be jealous. They keep questioning stuff and they go back and forth, back and forth, back. I'm like, Lord, child, just, you know what I mean? Like, bring the thing, come see what's this and see what's that. This is real silly. I'm not even like trying to think too much into stuff. I was just asleep and just woke back up. I get so tired from the monotonous or the same. Yeah, probably if I had a different agenda or something that got me enthused when I was running around talking about these ideas and stuff to do, and we can make money doing this. It was like I was ready to go. I told our boy, come down to my room. We can write some stuff out. Hell, I was thinking of a way to make money off that little. Oh, you say you can do what? Okay, well, we can go ahead and do this and make money off that way. Talking about filming, talking about writing, talking about raising money. Hell, you didn't have to give money to the pay extra on the rent. You could just everybody agree and put something to the side and like even had a checklist for the apartments in the building. Okay, well, we all gonna put together like $100. Every apartment give $100. And then present it to whatchamacallit and get something done. Take some initiative. But it's like, I came back and I was like, oh. like, oh, okay, well, got that elevator door, looks like a nice, ugly shade of red. But I was like, oh, that red looks tacky. But I was like, the hallway looks good. I was like, at least we got the hallway. And I was like, the front thing looks nuts. so good anymore, but it's new, and the project is still ongoing, and it's still there. It's just like, okay, hmm, well, all right. I was just like, huh. And I'm just like, what happened? And now it's like, I get why somebody's trying to help me because they're like, okay, y'all still didn't do Joe. All y'all had to do with Joseph is like I even said, write a letter. Tell your mayor, we noticed XYZ happening. Nurses, we at hospitals noticed this happening. See something, say something. If I was a city NYC gov, I'll be surprised. I will still be surprised if they came back and say, "Yo, we were just testing y'all." You know what I mean? Like, and this is why we have to do. We're implementing this or we're implementing that now, and we're changing and we're fixing stuff. I'm like, wow. I would like my hat to go off to like NYC Gov and be like, wow, y'all showing everybody a lot of stuff about not seeing something, saying something that would possibly could happen. Kudos, but you have to actually wrap stuff up. So I'm like, I don't know who's on the wrap up committee, but you have to wrap stuff up. I'm like, and that's why you're gonna drag out. There goes your shoes. And I'm hearing this like, whoop. It's like, so investigation here, no. Wrap up for like social, what is it? Social experiment. I could very well been, but it's kind of so ongoing where I'm like, like, investigation, I could see, but you're not clearing anything off your table. Transition of, well, we're not doing anything, so we're going to get somebody to do it. I'm like, well, the areas still look the same. I'm like, all these ideas are probably not. I mean, all my ideas are nice. Don't get me wrong. Like the movie idea was bomb. I can't even sit down and write. Like I can't concentrate on that. I was thinking out loud. I could hear my own self thinking too. I was like, okay, well, if somebody could, they could write that. Because I couldn't. It came to me like, look, I like your idea. I got it. I'm gonna run with it. You gonna run with it? Yeah. Okay. I'll write it up. If you I show it to you, you can co-write. You know what I mean? Like I'll write the majority of it. Like, sure, perfect. You write like 75%. I come back and look at it, throw in some ideas, throw in some this, throw in some that. Might even be able to look and tell you some camera angles and some trick shots you can do this and do that. And then throw me a bone. Throw me a little milk bone. You'll get a box of milk bones from this. Throw me a milk bone or two. But it's just kind of like, and then somebody comes by and does an idea for cover-ups. So that was what I was thinking y'all were going to do to cover some stuff up. Like today I thought on the train about the whole, me getting on the train at a certain time and going there is what? That's how you know where I'm going, what time I'll get there, where you can come and show out. But I was like, okay, let me do one for you better. I was like, yep, that's probably what's going on. Let me get off the train, one stop early, switch over to the next train, forget my stop, come back down and see what happened. Just in case you was there waiting, right? So I wasn't that much later, like maybe 10 minutes, 15, maybe that, but enough to where it would let you know that I cut my cell phone off. So not to let you know that, one, I was going that way. Two, you didn't really know what stop I was at, where I was going, so you couldn't really harass me based off of my cell phone knowing the location. You couldn't really harass me off, okay, he's just now getting on a D. The D should be there in 30 minutes because I'm hopping train to this train and switching. So you had to pretty much follow me, and then somebody was like, "Yep, add stalking to the list." And I'm just like, "Oh Lord!" Like stalking's been there, and it's going to stay there because you're not really explaining yourself. And I'm sitting here like, I think about that girl. So I think about my apartment. Or start thinking about that whole thing where she threw the McDonald's bag down. I was like, dang. I was like, girl was through with the meal, but I was like, you got to throw it like that. I was like, you just straight just dumped it like shit. I don't even want this no more. It was just like, I was like, girl. I looked at her. She looked at me. I looked back. I was like, shook my head and kind of smirked like, dang. And I'm like, well, I was like, dang. I was like, okay, well, try to go to my whatchamacallit, see about my package. Package wasn't there. Went upstairs. Um, I heard somebody saying something. I was like, Lord, we're back. But then I'm like, I'm looking at my thing like, is anybody? He's so obsessed with trying to torture because somebody just sat there and, oh, the aliens, haha, that's what they get, messing around with New York City. And I'm just like, hi, babe, okay, snap out of la la land, come back down to earth. See, you shouldn't have been shown shit you was shown if you was shown something. You shouldn't have been reading shit if you was reading shit if you was reading shit. You shouldn't have been involved because you just a little too ends deep. But I was like, okay, I can't do that because I'm one person. People have to do their job. Walked past the guy outside. He didn't say nothing. Like, okay. I already, like, everybody's like, oh, well, what are you supposed to ask him something? Like, huh? I already asked him. I'm not, what do you want me to, like, go up and just punch him in the jaw? I've already asked, yo, are you talking when I turn around behind my back? Because I feel like, I hear your voice when I'm inside. Whoop de whoop. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, okay, got it. I'm sitting here looking at you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. And like, okay, and like one time as a kid, am I supposed to confront you about some money? Because I'm like, that don't make no sense. If you know you're talking, like, if you know you're talking, you're doing this, you're doing that. Why would I have to confront you or demand? How does that look? So I'm like, shouldn't you kind of do? Oh, hey, I'm like, what? Like, me out trying to play shit off like that. I'm supposed to know something. Not saying I would play it off in that moment. And they say, he done said that, so you can't do it now. But I was just saying in general because I was like, oh my God, am I supposed to know something and I forgot? Yeah, boy, you know, da 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 da. Oh, duh. So where that? Versus you don't know what I'm talking about, and I asked you, and your voice be around all over the place, and you don't know. So I'm like, okay, kind of hard doing all that standing when y'all acting like you ain't the one standing there with me. Then I go to whatchamacallit. I try to find the packages in there, and all of a sudden the package, I guess, reappeared. Then again, maybe it was brought back. I don't know, because I'm just sitting here like, okay, but I still came early, so I'm like, it shouldn't have been brought back, and it was empty boxes. I'm like, they said it was in the mailbox. So I was like, okay. I'm talking to her. Then I'm going back. Let me come back home. Have a nice little conversation on whatchamacallit. What you been doing? Oh, looking. Oh, what was I talking about? Whatchamacallit apartment. And I walk by there. What's going on? He's still over there messing around. Just being stupid, right? And I'm like, okay. So it don't make no sense. I just said he's trying to like blame pin. First of all, the window looked like it was up. Second of all, does anybody go up there? I'm not about to do all this weird stuff and da da da. Okay, that's weird because when I walk around, then I went all the way to Trader Joe's. Inside of Trader Joe's, like, what? Everybody's been like, you should just pay. You should just pay Joseph King. Like, come on. Tired of hearing this. Like, we clearly see that Joseph's innocent. Da, 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 da. So why aren't you looking out for Joseph? And somebody just having fun. So I'm like, okay, so why wouldn't y'all, if I was a bystander, I would record that and send it in. And I started getting mad today, so I'm like, oh my God, stop. And you should tell by my frustration that this has happened more than once. I started thinking about that. I was like, is it bad that I kind of was mad? And then I was like, no, because it's trying to put a resolve on it. So I'm like, it just gets irritating. God. And I'm sitting in my room talking at a low monotone voice, meaning if your TV's on, which a lot of people have in their rooms, their fan is on, you won't be able to hear me. And I'm clearly talking to myself to a device. Well, not talking to myself, but talking to a device, meaning there's nobody in my conversation. So it's not technically talking to myself, it's talking out loud. And somebody that's overzealous has somebody else walk by, told you. And he'll say, well, I'm glad nobody's doing it today. Like, wow. Not really. Or, never mind. And then, like, say, like, even the whatchamacallit down the hall. We're not even in the same league because what type of person are you? What type of person am I? Like, you in a totally different round. You got pretty much totally different issues than me. I'm pretty much at that point where, like, I told the guy upstairs I want to start a life and have, like, a child. And if a person comes along later on, good. But mine is, like, kid, raising, get compensated for my troubles, help people, enjoy my life. And they're talking about the whole thing. I'm not worried about that part if everybody does what they should. The problem is when people aren't doing what they should. You're not telling somebody what's going on, when you're putting somebody in a situation where they don't understand the full scope of it, and when people are using me and not informing me. So somebody want to sit there like, okay, well, we kind of see that he was being used and not informed. What happened? And then they're going to start trying to figure out who did it. Then somebody's going to try to cover up who did it because why? They did it. Then they're going to jeopardize everybody else. And so to probably go ahead and compensate for them and what they've done, they're going to try to make up for it and try to nip it in the bud. Oh, they're going to be mad at us. So let's try to go ahead and get them out the way. It's probably what happened. And I'm sitting here like the whole time, like, bro, it rained. I didn't even. I'm like, dang, like I was sitting there talking whatchamacallit when I got back. And I was sitting there like looking at people, like certain people, I even said that I had the conversation about energy. Certain people are places they're not supposed to be. I said this about entertainment a long time ago. You had so many people that were kind of in all these movies. And like I saw Scream yesterday. Pretty good cast. People I did not know. Pretty good actors. Long as your movie idea is good. Like American Horror Story. Bomb. I love American Horror Story. You didn't even have like name brand people in it. Like, well, not you, what you do now, but you didn't have, well, not brand name. You know what I mean? You didn't have like known people in it. And it was good when it first came out. So was Stranger Things. But you had so many people that were in these positions that held them so long that made so much money that other people weren't able to acclimate a whole lot of money. And be able to go back to their hoods. And I get why some people that got big, they didn't really go back as much, is because the type of stuff that they went through, the type of mindset, the psychology behind it. But I'm like, well, maybe we'll get into that because they already said it done. I don't like going back on that. But the whole point is, why don't people just do what's right and say something? People that were out there giving examples, you clearly knew kind of what was going on, right? You knew enough of what was going on to do it, so you should have wrote it. Something's really weird. Why are we being told what to do? Why is somebody following this guy around every time he comes near? We got to do this, we got to do that. Oh, maybe because New York doesn't. And then when the government gets it, be like, well, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Y'all don't want it to be what? Oh, well, somebody said they're taking over. Who? You know, well, maybe we should ask this guy that's always happening around. I'm like, oh, I can tell you what happened. Somebody kept saying that, child, and that is not what was going on. Somebody was just basically exaggerating this and saying that because they probably made a mistake and did something they weren't supposed to do and start calling out stuff. And then somebody got nervous and they went ahead and tried to cover up their mess and say this and say that because it ended up killing something or doing something, and let people know what they need to do so they can fix it. But you can't do that because people don't understand what they need to say, and it's like, okay, because I can tell you some weird stuff that happened, but I don't want to have to say it out loud because one, it's already been said because somebody else is picking it and tossing it out. But I'm like, that's not how you should do it. You should consult with me first. I know what's going on. I know it like the back of my head, but you still don't know my sense. Was it sensory not deceptory, but sensory depth of sensory or something? Like what I see, what I notice, like the walls are semi-gloss, so it might be a reflection of something bounced off something to something else, and I think that it's something. Like when I looked at that wall over there, the pipes made a certain figure when I looked in the mirror, and I was like, oh, it looked like something. And the wall might move a certain way when something's done. It might move a certain way every time you say something. Just because of when I noticed it. And you might think, oh, it's communicating. It's like, no, I realized that wasn't nothing. That was just something that happened on cue with something else. Or just the angle I was laying. Like I said in Trader Joe's, Jack's, how the AC would feel like wind coming towards you and dropping because the heat and cold, like the open refrigerator. And it might feel like something's grabbing your arm. Like, oh my God, it just grabbed my arm. No, nigga. It's just the cold air comes from the top. So So it comes off of the shelf, drops down, and then goes towards the floor. So it might feel like something rubbing your arm and then grabbing your hand, but it's like, no, it's just the cold air. But my first thought might be, oh my God, something just grabbed my hand. Oh, something just grabbed his hand, guys. Something just grabbed his hand. Yeah. I'm like, no, where was I at? What was I doing? What was I near? Like the whole static electricity. Is there something that's being done next door? Could it be, I usually when he's in there, I'm in there, and I plug my hair dryer. Oh, so you're using the socket in the wall. So next thing you know, it could be maybe it's the socket in the wall and bad wiring. Or when you go in there, same time I do, maybe it's bad wiring, touching something in the wall, touching a metal pole with my shower curtain on it, making my shower curtain do some type of weird stuff. And I say maybe. But then, that's what it is, so we won't tell. And that's what I say. Good. You can't get this thing a bone for a bone. They're already upstairs talking about some. And that was from somebody else saying what when I first got here.